Did Russia supply New York City with medical supplies? Hi, thanks for watching. Today is Friday, Fact Check Friday, and I wanted to have a positive fact check. And by positive, it's all relative, but for me, that's saying something that is a little bit inspiring about the world and also to criticize the New York Times. So that's what we're going to do in this video. I've seen on social media a lot of talk about Russia sending supplies to the United States, New York City, medical supplies in this time of crisis, and whether that actually happened or if it's propaganda. You know, what are we to believe? So I thought this would be a good fact check today, and I just want to give you a quick reminder that anytime I reference a story, there'll be a link to the archived version of that story in the comments or in the description so that you can fact check me and keep me honest. And with all fact checks, what we do is we look at the claim, we look at the information provided, and then we can judge that claim. The claim is that Russia supplied the United States with medical equipment. Now, we're going to get to the story, and it's from everyone's favorite, totally unbiased source, the New York Times. So here's the New York Times, April 2nd. Turning the tables, Russia sends virus aid to U.S. A plane load of aid to New York was a propaganda coup for the Kremlin, tempered by an intensifying epidemic at home. Well, that's an interesting line there. This is not the opinion section. This is the actual news section of the New York Times. It's not marked as opinion, but it certainly reads like opinion. Let's keep going. It's by Anton Troyanovsky. And Moscow. In the early 1900s, amid the poverty-ridden collapse of the Soviet Union, American food aid in the form of a flood of cheap chicken thighs, Russians called them bush legs, symbolized the humiliating downfall of a superpower. 3 decades later, Moscow got a chance to turn the tables. A giant AN-124 Russian military transport plane landed at Kennedy International Airport in New York, bearing cartons of masks and ventilators from Russia in the pandemic-stricken metropolis. And further down the story, it says the pushback over Russia's shipment to New York, where the governor and the mayor have been sounding alarms about a shortage of personal protection equipment and ventilators, traced the geopolitical shadow cast over the global response to the pandemic. It also raises fresh questions about Mr. Trump's close relationship with Mr. Putin and Mr. Putin's commitment to fighting the virus in his own country. Here's a picture of the Russian military transport plane landing in New York City on Wednesday at Kennedy International Airport. For the Kremlin, the shipment was a propaganda coup, the latest chance to show Mr. Putin's nation and the globe that the days of Russia as a supplicant of the world stage were long gone. And so, for the fact check, did Russia supply the United States with medical equipment in New York City? They did. They absolutely did. So this is true. And I want to bring up something that I find very important about this story. You see, this piece from the New York Times just reeks of biased reporting. This is not labeled opinion. This is their news section, and you can read the entire article yourself, link in the description. But it is very, very biased. And I think that that's unacceptable. Something like this should be labeled opinion. Now, I give my opinions on my channel, but I think I make it pretty clear that it's my opinion. The New York Times, when they're putting things out in their news section, should not be speculating and saying that things are propaganda, etc. That's not good journalism, in my opinion. And I think that most people, when they read it, they don't read it as if it's opinion. They read it as if it's fact. And I don't think that that's right at all. In fact, something that you can do if you're interested about how biased a reporter is just go look at their Twitter feed. And if you read what they're retweeting and what they're tweeting about, it will tell you what's important to them. And many can speculate as to why Russia would do this. And they're saying that it's a propaganda coup. It's so great. But it really just makes sense. If you can afford to do it, if you can afford to help someone out when they are in need, even though you may need it at home, that may pay off in the future. I think that that's a real positive thing. Now, before this, Russia sent aid to Italy to help with the situation there as well. And I think that this pays off in the future. This is a smart move by Putin, that he can provide something to someone in need, and then hopefully, if they are in need, they can return the favor. I see this as a very positive thing, and to just cast this off as some kind of, propaganda is not really fair. It may be propaganda. It may be a PR stunt. That's possible. But you can do something good and have it be a PR stunt at the same time, and I think that's what this was. But I'm very happy that countries of the world are working together and not against each other. That's a good thing. That's something that should be celebrated and not discouraged, like the New York Times does. Now, the past couple of days, I've actually been chatting with people that live in Moscow. They are on a total lockdown. They are only allowed about 100 meters from their house to walk their dog and exercise or go to the grocery store. But other than that, everybody's locked up. They're taking this very, very seriously. I think probably a little bit more serious than we are here. But I think that this is an example of goodwill that should be celebrated. I really hope that Russia, the United States, and all countries can help each other out when they're in need and not have it be stigmatized as some kind of PR stunt propaganda. But that's just my take on it. I'd like to know your thoughts in the comments. Peace.